So yeah, it was a real treat.
And then he would just tell stories about living with the Coen brothers and
that was cool.
Kathy Bates. And,
yeah, having dinner with Sam Raimi is
Echo Park.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great.
It was really cool.
In the moments in which there's a lot of active movement, running, the camera's going to be doing that. And in the moments when she is losing mobility, the camera will start to slowly slow down.
I really enjoyed the movie, and I know that I, like many horror fans, when I saw the name Sam Raimi, it immediately made me want to see your movie.
Yeah.
So what was it like to have Sam Raimi involved with this project?
Well, we had the pleasure of working with Sam on an anthology series. We did 50 States of Fright for Quibi a few years ago. So we had a rapport with him, but, they say don't meet your idols, not in the case of Sam Raimi, because Sam Raimi is... he gave us, he was so involved, and he gave us the best script-to-screen notes that we probably have ever been given when it comes to kind of like, he's all based on like, what's the audience going to feel? How are you going to, how's the audience going to, feel in this sequence or this scene or whatever? And we spent hours poring over the script. And he's just as excited. When we met him on 50 States, the one thing we learned is that he's just as excited now as he probably was when he first started. Like that, the time he spent in Hollywood has not diminished his enthusiasm for filmmaking, for the horror genre, and he just loves, I think, fostering young filmmakers and getting them out into the world. And the gifts he gave us were, make your movie. Don't make the movie I would make the movie you would make. And that's an incredible gift for a producer to give to a filmmaker. I remember our day before shooting. We were in a small town in Bulgaria, and had a dinner to kind of like commemorate it. And Sam was just telling us how nervous he was about doing this, and we were like, "You've been doing this for decades. What are you nervous about?" But he was just saying how he gets nervous before all his movies, and he was just nervous excitement for everybody involved, and ready to go on this journey, and it just bubbles out of him, and it's contagious, infectious and contagious, yeah.
Well, and with the lead Iris having limited movement throughout the film, what was your approach to shooting her to keep it visually interesting?
When we brought aboard the producers and the partners that helped us make the film, we said we wanted it to be experiential. We wanted people to feel, without living in her head or living in voiceover or telling something that was too nonlinear, we want to be in the moment with her. So we said the film should do that. In the moments in which there's a lot of active movement, running, the camera's going to be doing that. And in the moments when she is losing mobility, the camera will start to slowly slow down as well. So that was the plan of attack. And then we would use, in those moments in which the camera is slowing or stopped, we would use all the other filmmaking tools, do sound design and color and all those sorts of things to tell the story of what it feels like to have this narcotic in your system. What is it doing to this beautiful setting? Is it morphing it into like this house of horrors with the soundscape? And our composers are Mark Corvin and Michelle Osis. Mark is anyone in horror knows Mark's work. It's so singular. And between he and Michelle, they just crafted something that just twisted this really beautiful landscape into something that was just really frightening by just taking what was available to them and just kind of twisting it.
Yeah, we wanted to play a lot with the idea of like the audience not really knowing what's necessarily score and what's sound design, and kind of have those kind of meld together. In weird and twisted ways, just like Mark and Michelle were able to do. So it was fun when they were starting to deliver the stems for that stuff, to listen to it.
But just also having having confidence that we can only make films that we would watch, and so you have the confidence that in telling it this way, there will be others like us that will dig it that way. And so that's a lot of it is just that when you're making a film, it's just you have to make your film, and you hope that it meets an audience or finds an audience, and so that's a lot of it is just that. Stick with the plan and see what happens.
Well, and I really love the smash cut to credits. I think I literally blurted out "fuck yeah" when it happened. Why did you decide to go so hard with the credits?
Well, I don't know. It was. We want the ending to kind of feel a little. You can interpret it however you want to, and we've had a lot of different interpretations from people with that. But we just felt like it felt like the end of the journey. It felt like the end of her journey, and leave the rest of it to what the audience thinks. So that's kind of the reason for it. I mean, it was always kind of crafted that way.
But a lot of it's song choice, and then when do you get out, and sometimes like we put people through so much. It is tense, right? It is this really fun kind of nail-biting exercise, but it's nice to send people home or
Feel
however
good
they're
about
watching, just
yourself
kind of
when
like
you
hit them
leave.
with that movie high when you walk out of a film where you're sitting from home and you're watching a film. When you leave, we wanted to give them a feeling. So a lot of it was just figuring out how do we give them that feeling that's like, yes, we've rewarded this tense experience, but we're letting you know that that was supposed to be fun. It was supposed to be entertaining. So it was just trying to figure out a way to do that, and that's just a lot of trial and error.
You poisoned me?
Not poison. Just a special relaxant to make things easier on both of us.
Kelsey, this is a really tough role. I don't think people understand how difficult it is to stay still like that for such long periods. But your eyes are also always so active that it almost feels like a contradiction within your own body. Can you talk a little about how difficult that was to pull off?
Yeah, it was something that I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to. You're kind of figuring it out as you go, and there's obviously these stages of paralysis that you've, it's like, oh, in this scene, can my eyebrows move? So we were figuring it out, and I really credit the directors for helping me with what translated and what didn't. But they did.
Well, and Finn, what was it like to play an absolute psychopath?
What are you talking about? He's a family man.
Exactly.
It was a fun challenge to sort of be. I love this script because it was like one person who, as it goes on, can't move anymore, and this other guy who like has to sort of figure out how to move and how to change himself in every new situation. And so that was really the challenge, was sort of forgetting the psychopath part and just really trying to make him as different as possible and as much of a chameleon as possible with every new scenario that he's put into and every new person he has to try to convince of something.
When there are several moments where you just switch on a dime and it's downright terrifying, what do you think the key is to successfully pulling off that kind of switch?
What's the key?
What is the key?
Yeah, I think that he is. You just think of him as like he is this person when he's by himself. He's this person when he's with her. He's this other person when he's with the guy in the cabin and with the cop, a different guy. So it's like a different mask to put on, and it's a physical mask and a facial mask and a vocal mask. And so I just sort of tried to kind of figure out all the masks, and then once you get them, you can just sort of go from one to the next, you know.
When during the initial car fight, it genuinely feels like you're both fighting for your lives. Kelsey, what was the prep work like for that?
Oh, I think that is one of my favorite scenes.
Yeah.
Because we did a lot of rehearsal because it's such a dance in the car.
Yeah, we had a great fight choreographer out
Yeah.
there. And we did work it out, days before, or maybe the day before.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and it is one of the few times I can move.
Yes. She took full advantage.
Yeah, took full advantage.
It was really creative. I thought it was really creative, like all the ways you can fight in a very, very enclosed space and all.
Yeah.
And the seatbelt and the thing and the, it's like, it was like,
Yeah, it's
how
kind of
many
like
things
a
can we find?
toxic lovers
Yeah, quarrel. Quarrel to the death.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think the thing that works so well with that scene is usually a scene like that, you can always see the outs, the very obvious outs of like, oh, why didn't they just do this? But everything in that is so logical and just realistic and fast that it just works so well.
Oh, good.
Yeah, good. Yeah, that's also our directors too. They're they really sort of meticulously think things through before we start and sort of come up with all of the options and sort of how to circumvent that. And
I'm glad.
trying to be like as realistic as possible in this crazy situation.
Well, and finally, I have to ask, Sam Raimi is like a god in the horror world. So what was it like to have him involved as a producer?
It's really cool.
It was so wonderful. He's incredible, and he really was. He
invested
was
in this.
really like our dad on set.
He was, yeah.
He loves making movies so much, and he was such a help to us. I mean, like even down to make sure that the blood color was right.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a real treat.
And then he would just tell stories about living with the Coen brothers and
That was cool.
Kathy Bates and
Having dinner with
in the
Sam
80s
Raimi
in
is
Echo Park.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great.
It was really cool.